Since antiquity, people have crossed the oceans. You could go over and discover. Our exhibition and our scholarly year is about how have these discoveries been reported? How did all these people write about their discoveries? First of all, you have to learn how to go over these oceans. Since the Middle Ages and before in antiquity, people used the stars. So we have a whole history of the maps and how to make these maps, how to print these maps, how to illustrate these maps. This is not really a map, it's a metaphor of a map. It is an interpretation of the world. It tells you how people understood the world and how they wanted the world to be understood, with Jerusalem in the middle and the other continents around it. Since the Renaissance and the 15th and 16th century, the world became more and more known. There are plenty of very fascinating books where you can see that people reported about these other cultures. They were full of imagination, exaggerating what they have seen. People came from these other cultures and brought all kinds of things along. They brought natural products, shells, animals, plants, but also what we would consider today works of art. And they all brought it together in the so-called Kunst- und Wunderkammer. This is a German term which is very common to describe these kind of collections of things which in a certain way don't belong together because they come from very different cultures. But it is the first step of bringing together these very fascinating and interesting collections people brought from all over the world. And during the 17th and especially in the 18th century, people started to class this material, to study this material, to bring it all together in a certain order. This is a wonderful picture of this great scholar Alexander von Humboldt in his study in Berlin, after having been in South America and exploring, discovering, bringing all his material home. Then later, these different objects from other continents were exhibited in huge exhibitions. And if you look very closely, it is not only original material from these countries, but it's also material which has been produced in Europe after these models. Today, if we want to go to East Asia, we just go into a plane and look at these sites. But in the 19th century, what they did was to bring Angkor Wat to Paris. These are Parisians walking over a bridge into a world exhibition where they built the whole temple structure in plaster. Connecting seas is about connecting cultures, and it's about learning about another culture, the history of this other culture. My personal conviction is there is not only one art history, there are many art histories. The Getty Research Institute brings in scholars from all over the world because it is an institution of connecting people from all over. You are able to be inspired all the time by new questions and to develop new methodologies. And the beauty of this place is to bring people together so that we can study how one culture was inspired by another. And this understanding of this history can guide us to be respectful also in our present days.